Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. Today's video I want to talk a little bit about a certain type of aggression at a certain age in imprint accipiters. Now if you follow this channel, you know accipiters of all kinds I very much love and enjoy flying. And one of my dear friends, John, is flying a sharp-shinned hawk. And I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again. If you are going to fly an accipiter, it is wise to have a friend who's flown them as well, that you can bounce ideas back and forth, that you can troubleshoot through together. And John and I spent a lot of time doing that. We really enjoy it. And I have other accipiter friends as well in my community, and that's it's really good because sometimes you get so intense when you're flying an accipiter that you'll see something and you're not seeing it clearly, and somebody else tells you something you already know, or vice versa. You know, they help you, you help them. So if you're flying in accipiters, again, it's really good to buddy up with people who know them well or are learning them well as well. Now, John has flown a lot of Cooper's hawks. He's had a lot of success hunting them, so he knows his accipiters well. But this is his first time with a sharp-shinned. Remember, a sharp-shinned hawk is a lot smaller, and so everything is sped up, and so some things happen at earlier stages and in slightly different ways. John has done everything right with this baby sharp-shinned, this little Ias sharp-shinned, and he has trained it to be very social around his family and around his dogs and in his house. He has only fed it in one area where he is not going to keep it once it's hard penned. And the reason is that area is okay to have food aggression because it's never going to be in that area once the bird is ready and hunting and doing all that. Because food aggression can be so dangerous and so unpredictable when it comes to accipiters. So he's done everything right, and remember, this bird is a baby. It is not fully feathered. All the feathers exist, but they have not grown in all the way. And remember, even when feathers have grown in all the way, they still have to do what's called hard penned. Hard penning is when the blood that is growing the feather stops and the blood retreats back into the body, at which time with accipiters, we usually see an increase in blood pressure and an increase in intensity. They go from la 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 to rah, they get kind of psycho on you. The bird is not there yet. The feathers are coming in, but the bird still has fluffs of down, and the tail and the wing feathers most certainly are not full length yet. But John has, as in his technique of hunting, has gotten this bird ready by letting it catch little sparrows already, and eating on the ground, which eating on the ground helps prevent carrying. You don't want your bird to catch prey and be like, oh, instinct, fight or flight, and fly away. You don't want that. So he's done everything right. But we were watching, and this bird, this little sharpie, this little sharpshin, has started to show strange aggression only on food, where all of a sudden it's like, meh. And let's take a look at a little video clip and see what we're having here. Now remember, this is a bird that is not hard penned. This is important if you're diagnosing what kind of a moderate aggression you're seeing in your bird. So on a kill or on food of any kind, all of a sudden in the past 2 days, this sharpshin has started to mantle heavily. Now, sometimes accipiters will mantle heavily if they're overweight or underweight. This bird has a fast enough metabolism that he eats. There isn't much weight management that's happened at all yet because the bird's still growing feathers. You need that bird fat and happy. But because John has already allowed this bird to make kills, even though it's not even fully flighted yet, which is a great way to be ahead of the game and jump into hunting, then you expect some mantling. That's normal of almost any raptor, really. But this was unexpected to suddenly be showing aggression in this way. What's different now is that watch as this hawk is, as he approaches, it is almost laying down on the ground, and it is leaning over almost like it wants to nip or bite him or show that level of aggression. To be that defensive of a kill is normally not normal. Maybe if the bird is flying a little too low and instead of thinking about eating, it's like, oh, I just need to defend this food because I'm a little too low. That's not the case with this bird. So what are we looking at here? And there's different solutions to this. I'll tell you my solution, but I want to more identify what the problem is so there's an understanding. There can be multiple good solutions to the same problem. So let's look at what's happening here. Again, the bird is mantling. the bird is being aggressive with its beak, but it's not expecting fully John to steal this kill, because John doesn't. John's used to having a pre-weighed meal and allowing the bird to just eat all of it right there. And so what you have to think about is what would be happening in the wild at this age. Now, accipiters are very defensive of the nest. When you have doesn't matter the type, goshawk, Cooper's hawk, sharp-shinned hawk, when they have their nest, mom and dad dutifully guard this nest. But once the young reach a certain age, their metabolism is going through the roof. And so mom and dad are both hunting and both bringing back food. And in the early days, they're breaking off pieces and handing it to the young. But very quickly, the young get to what we call a brancher stage, where they are hopping around branches near the nest. Again, they can't fly, or not fully, and they'll still sleep in the nest, but they're and part of the reason they do that is it's a survival of the fittest game. And because all the birds don't hatch on the same day, they're hatching different days, so there's an age difference. And if it's a harsh year like this year, where you have it's a drought in Utah, there's not as much prey available for mom and dad to catch and bring back to the nest. Well, if that's the case, then there's a chance one or two of the young might starve. So whoever gets there first and gets the food is more likely to survive. Now, that manifests in the young age with vocalization, right? That's true of almost any bird. If you have multiple birds in a nest and they're me, 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 whoever's making more noise and lifting their head up is more likely the parents are like, a bunch of loud, okay, you're loud, here you go. That's the earlier ages. But then when you get to this age, this is an age where these young are starting to fly a bit. And if mom and dad are coming near the nest, they start teaching the young how to hunt a bit. And I've mentioned this in other videos where they'll fly near the nest, drop prey, and the young will fly to it, catch it, and then carry it to a branch or to the ground. And this does two things. It teaches them to hunt, and it focuses aggression away from the parents and onto the image of a prey item. So the parents really do train their birds. Yeah, you're aggressive, you're an accipiter, you have this killer hunting instinct. You need to direct that instinct not at me, but at the young. I mean, not at me, but at the whatever prey I'm bringing. But at this age, you are in fierce competition with your siblings. And there is, at this age, right around hard penning, when their feathers are almost all the way in and they're learning how to fly, your siblings are not your nest mates. They are not your friends. They want to steal your food. With birds, the rule of nature is your food doesn't belong to you until it's in your stomach. Okay? Anywhere along the way of you having killed or taken or eating something, somebody else could steal it, and including your siblings. So what we see at this age, here is a bird that has been trained correctly. It's social, it's nice when food isn't involved. There's absolutely no aggression, and there hasn't been aggression until these past 2 days. But it's manifesting largely because this bird is hitting the age where that survival instinct is kicking in, that, hey, when I've got food at this age, anybody coming to take it, any living thing coming near me is probably going to take my food. So I should be aggressive. So John has done nothing wrong, but this is kind of to be expected at this age bracket. So what do you do about it? Well, again, if this was a captive bred bird, some people just let the parents raise the birds completely. They don't imprint it at all. They let the parents raise them and then take a baby once it's ready to learn how to fly and hunt and everything. But that can, with accipiters, can lead to a lot of fear. A lot of that this bird loves John and always wants to run and be near him and absolutely loves hanging out with him. And so that's not the case. We don't want fear. This is an imprint that he's trained right. So at this stage, what I do, and this is similar to what John's starting to do, is he is introducing the lure with food on it. So give that a couple of days so the bird likes, oh, hey, there's this object with food on it instead of just food. So he's putting sparrows aside, and it's just going to be like, there's food on a lure, I catch it, I eat it, okay? Do that for a few days. So the image of the lure is very important and is embedded in the mind of that young bird. Then remove food and just throw out the lure, kaboom. There's a lure with no food, but the bird learns, bam, I got to go land on that lure and I've got to get it and attack it. Oh, there's no food. Okay, then drop food over here, bloop, and the bird goes, jumps off, takes the food. Now, it might try to drag the lure with, but you have the lure on a line, so eventually they let go, and they eat the food. Food that is pre-weighed and has no feathers on it. So there's, and then you take the lure away, and the bird sits there, I got my meal, eats every last bit of that pre-weighed meal with no feathers, and when it's gone, it's like, there's no feathers plucked on the ground to mantle over, to trigger the idea of, I still have something to defend, and there's no physical object, the lure is gone. Oh, okay, hi, how you doing? Pick me on up. And that is the step-by-step stage. And I've mentioned this technique before, but this is really good time to do it for this bird. Now then, this transition later on is going to be, okay, we're in the field, you caught prey, and you're mantling over it. I'm going to drop the lure, and then you hop off to the lure that has no food, and then I drop food over here, boop, and you go for that, okay? So 1 step, 2 step, okay? So you're going for the kill, to an ungarnished lure, to food that has no feathers, okay? And then you hide the kill and the lure. And then with most birds, you can very easily do that to the next step where they're on a kill, you approach, they're a little aggressive, you dangle the food over here that's pre-weighed, plop, and they, doing, they jump off, you take the kill away, you step back, and they eat it all, whatever you wanted them to eat. And then you approach again, and they're like, oh, my food's gone. They do a little walk, do a little walk, do a little walk. Switches turn off, and they're like, okay, hey, friend, let's go find something else to hunt. That's the step-by-step at this stage. This can, again, this exact behavior demonstrated in this video will also almost exactly, only with more feet, appear at other ages, again, for a myriad of reasons, from you're flying your bird too high, you're flying your bird too low, you've put too much emphasis on the kill, you've put too little emphasis on the lure. There's other ways. We'll bring this up in future videos. But this is a unique age, again, when the bird is almost hard-penned, the feathers are not all the way in, and a dream bird suddenly gets a little weird and aggressive in this particular way. So we wanted to share the problem, share what I do as my solution, and John's coming up with his own that's similar to kind of what I outlined here. But watch for this. If you have an imprint accipiter, and at this age you're seeing this, remember, always ask, what would the bird be doing at this age in the wild? And that is a window into understanding the psychology and base instincts of what your bird is experiencing and exhibiting. So I hope this is a little bit useful for you. It's, again, the nuances of accipiters are many, and it is good to troubleshoot, talk, think, brainstorm, and try to understand them the best you can. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and feel free to share this channel with everybody else. It's trying to really get it up and going. And let me know if you have any other questions about accipiters or what other videos you would like to see. And as always, my friends, happy hawking.